So if you've ever wondered whether the mainstream media will manipulate the truth to set people off, the public, whether it's football fans, whether it's different towns, different locations, off against each other, there's proof here today. Both these stories, for me, are outrageous. Outrageous, and I want to get your opinions on them, okay? Hit the like and the share button. Make sure you're sharing this in your group chats online. I'd love to get as many opinions on this as possible. I was approached by the BBC to discuss the new redevelopment of Old Trafford and the new 100,000-seater stadium that Manchester United are proposing to build. And I was excited about this. I don't do much radio. I don't do much TV. I'm very rarely invited on, and that's fine. Don't take it personally. So I was excited about doing it. The biggest reason I wanted to do this is that there's a lot of misconceptions about the redevelopment of Old Trafford. People are reading those headlines and they think, oh, why is the government redeveloping Old Trafford? Old Trafford is an area. It isn't just the name of the stadium. In fact, there's two stadiums in that area called Old Trafford, the football stadium and the cricket stadium as an example. But the area is what the government were backing. So I thought a great time to go on and express my opinions on this. Only to get a very weird response indeed. I want to play for you first of all, because you had to do like an intro message that was going to go out at 6 a.m. and then I was coming onto the show for 15, 20, 30 minutes at around 7:45. But take a listen to what I sent them to begin with. Podcast, and in my opinion, the government is right to back the rejuvenation of Old Trafford because this is exactly where taxpayer money should be spent. Jobs are going to be created, billions of pounds for the economy and the local economy, better infrastructure, better train lines, more entertainment, more fun, more facilities, places to live as well. I think there's a misconception that Old Trafford is going to be paid for by the government, as in the stadium. People don't realize that Old Trafford is the area that surrounds it. It's a working class area, and I think that this is the absolute right thing for the government to be doing. Now, I also said to them as well in sort of a phone conversation that for me, this is where taxpayer money should be spent, unless they're taking it out of a pot for vulnerable people, education for children, the NHS. No way should an area get rejuvenated and take the money away from vulnerable people. But of course, you know, they knew all of this. I then got the weirdest message this morning at about 5 a.m. Okay, and this is what they sent to me. Hi, Terry. Hope you were good this morning. This is, I'm going to blank the person's name out. That's not important. One of the producers from the 5 Live Breakfast program. I'm getting in touch regarding your opinion. That's what the show is called, in my opinion, for us about Old Trafford. Although, and this is that word straight away, my ears pricked up. Although you mentioned public money needs to go into the area, and that's the bit that got me. Well, of course, public money needs to go into the area because that's what government should be doing, is rejuvenating and keeping our areas nice, clean, good, and keeping jobs there. Are you also comfortable saying that it needs to be spent on the stadium too? Why would I be comfortable saying that? Why are you creating that debate? We're keen to include that as a key part in my opinion. Why do you want anybody to have that opinion when it isn't true? No money is being spent. No taxpayer money is being spent on building the stadium. So why would anybody back it? How can I back something that doesn't exist? So I'd sent them a voice note back, and this is what I sent. Before I do that, though, I want to talk to you about Magic Mind. Now, for me, you know, I suffered with some massive mental health issues a few years ago. You as a community really helped get me through that. You know, the cardiophobia was killing me, the anxiety, the inability to leave my house. But getting fit and healthy, eating better, and sleep was such a massive component for me. And I'm always looking for things that can help enhance that element of my life. And Magic Mind I heard mentioned on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he raved about it. And he's a bit of a health freak, and I thought I'd love to try some of that. And then almost miraculously, like a quirk of fate, they reached out and they were sending me a couple of boxes of these packs here, which are the Magic Mind packs. And I now take one of these shots in the morning and one of these shots before bed, full of organic ingredients, so scientifically proven to be better for you. But it helps you concentrate, it maintains energy, and at night it just helps you relax. Drift off into a
nice sleep and get yourself recharged for the next day. And of course, I'm not advocating just drinking Magic Mind by itself and still eating badly, drinking all night and never getting any sleep. It's a supplement and it should complement your lifestyle. But if, like me in 2025, you are looking to get fit and healthy, Magic Mind is a step in the right direction for you. If you scan the QR code, which is, I can't move my hand there, or click on the link below, there is a 45% discount on their website that we can provide for you as well, which you can see just on the screen. Go and check the website out. Go and check what they have on offer and how it works for you. But I can't advocate this more, especially when it comes to building stronger health and being better mentally day in, day out. So go and check out Magic Mind at the end of this video. Now, I need to play you what I sent back to them because I've still had no response up until this point. Take a little listen.
Flewers from the Football Terrace podcast, and in my opinion, the government is right to back the rejuvenation of Old Trafford because this is exactly where tax.
A little bit confused as to why this.
I played the wrong one. Let me start that one again. Sorry.
I'm just a little bit confused as to why this would be a key point to introduce. It's been well documented by government officials, by Manchester United and multiple outlets that there is no public funds that are going towards rebuilding the stadium. So I don't understand why it's even a talking point when it isn't happening. It seems a little odd to include it when the BBC should be telling its viewers and its listeners that no government funding is going towards the stadium. And the conversation should be, is the spending of taxpayer money towards improving the local area infrastructure, creating jobs, is that a good use? We shouldn't be having any conversations about spending public money on the stadium because that's not happening. So why would the BBC want to include that in the debate as a key point, as you put it?
Which I think is fair. I'm still yet to have a response from the BBC on that. But I am very, very confused, genuinely confused as to why the BBC want it as a talking point. That is only going to muddy the waters, confuse listeners, and convince people, oh my God, my taxpayer money, my pounds that I pay in tax is going to help Man United build a new stadium that's going to make them wealthier, make them richer. For me, this is outrageous. The BBC should be pushing the truth, which is that no taxpayer money is going to be used. Now, if that changes, if we've been lied to by the MPs, lied to by Man United, I'll be the first to condemn it. But how are we out here condemning something that hasn't happened? For me, absolutely atrocious on every single level. Now, this was another headline I read yesterday that said Michael Oliver should not be exposed to Arsenal fans after death threats over the Lewis-Skelly red card. And I saw these headlines absolutely everywhere yesterday. Death threats, Arsenal, Lewis-Skelly, red card, this is terrible, oh my God, Arsenal fans are bad. Now, there was definitely a lot of abuse aimed towards Michael Oliver the other day. I'm still a little confused as to where the abuse went. He doesn't have social media accounts, so I'm not too sure how he saw the tweets. But okay, the abuse is never right, and it should be called out. Why I felt this headline was egregious is because, as pointed out here, Michael Oliver received death threats 3 weeks ago. The PGMOL was not appalled by those ones, apparently. Those death threats were okay. Only the ones after Oliver and the PGMOL were called out by the entire football industry did this happen. Now, it hasn't been clarified, but it turns out that the death threats came after the Man United-Liverpool game. There is no evidence of direct death threats being sent to Michael Oliver after the Arsenal game. But it feels like what the PGMOL have done to get the heat off them is they've put this all together and they've put out the headlines. But it's disingenuous because the headlines are connecting it to the Arsenal situation. Now, of course, everybody rejects death threats and pejoratives being thrown at referees or any kind of abuse happening in any way, shape or form. But what we cannot allow is criticism and abuse to be sort of merged together in this circumstance. The vast majority of football fans calling out the red card towards Lewis-Skelly at the weekend were criticising the competency and the inconsistency of the PGMOL and VAR, which was proven, by the way, by the independent panel almost instantly, very quickly, reversing that red card decision. So I think that for me, what they're now trying to do, the PGMOL, is do not criticise our refs. The whole thing is abuse. And I feel we have to draw a line between these two things. But to connect Lewis-Skelly's name, Arsenal's name, to the death threats that happened after the Man United-Liverpool game is horrendous because they have nothing to do with one another. I find that to be very, very strange indeed. Equally, listen to this on TalkSport as well.
If you look at the statistics, there is an argument that Arsenal fans, looking at his decisions, he sends off more players than Arsenal than any other referee by multiples of 5.
Well, but they're all red cards. They were all red cards.
Are they all red cards, though? See, and this is the thing. Are they all red cards? And is Michael Oliver applying the same stringency to the law against every other team? And this is what Jim White isn't getting here. And this is what a lot of people that hate Arsenal are not getting. Now, I will say, and I said it yesterday on Straight Facts, Arsenal fans have got to stop making this solely about them. You've seen what the BBC have tried to do. I've shown you in this video to Man United in the new stadium. So the media do this to everybody. And there are different... Anthony Taylor and Chelsea fans have a situation. Doesn't mean that Arsenal have not had bias towards them or bad decisions towards them, but you've got to stop making it so personal and look at this from a wider lens. I think you'll win more hearts and minds in this conversation. But first of all, Jim White says they were all red cards. Well, we know that isn't true because Lewis-Skelly's just got overturned. Just that one alone. And there are other controversial ones as well, but that one has been debunked. The biggest argument, though, that I see from Arsenal fans is, well, why wasn't Kovacic sent off by this man? Stud tackles above the ankle, only got a yellow. A late tackle a few minutes later didn't get sent off. And the rationale given was, didn't want to ruin the game. Just that statement alone, well, why in games before and after have you sent Arsenal players off when you could have left them on to not ruin the game? This is what people are calling out. And I understand there are individuals online that will never hold their club accountable, that will just blame referees no matter what happens, and they act like Arsenal are the greatest team ever and they're never critical. But that isn't the vast majority of Arsenal fans, and that isn't the vast majority of football fans. The way the media treats us and the way the PGMOL and the FA treat us is like, well, working class people are dumb, so they can't handle more than one conversation at the same time. Like we can't look at Arsenal in isolation here and criticise Kai Havertz's misses, criticise the squad building, and say the referees have cost them points. All these three things can coexist in reality at the same time. The way they disregard the working classes like we're dumb frustrates the living daylights out of me. We're not stupid. We might sound a bit stupid because I don't pronounce all my letters correctly. You know, just because I'm dyslexic doesn't make me dumb. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm frustrated about. The majority of Arsenal fans, and forget the old uber negative ones or the uber positive ones, they are an outlier on both ends of that spectrum. The vast majority are saying, hang on, we can accept all of those 8 red cards. We can accept them all. Let's just say you can. But why are other people for very similar incidents getting away with it? That's where Simon Jordan is right. The statistics shouldn't be the end point. It should start a conversation. The problem is people want to shut it down instantly. And for me, that's strange. It's weird how it gets shut down. It's strange how, listen, I've said it already, and I'll say it again for anyone who's deaf and can't hear, right? The death threats are unacceptable on every level. But why bring up death threats from 3 weeks ago that you never released a statement about now that a bad decision's been made where the criticism is really high? And as far as we know, unless they can provide us the evidence, there have been no further death threats. Abuse, yes. Finding Michael Oliver's work address, which is actually a service address, not where he lives, on the internet. These things are hideous. These things shouldn't be happening. No doubt about it. But the criticism must remain. And maybe if if there was better criticism from the mainstream media, people were being listened to without saying, excuses! Talk about Kai Havertz missing shots. Well, these people are talking about Kai Havertz missing shots. They also want to talk about the inconsistencies, at the very least, in refereeing. Being shut down makes people angry. So why do it? What are you covering up? What are you protecting? As ever, my people, I'd love to get your views and opinions on all of this. You may not think I'm right about everything, and that's fire. I'm not going to do what the mainstream media does. I want to hear your opinions. If they're abusive, if they're nasty, yeah, I'll push them away. I don't care about them. But I know the vast majority of you, even if you disagree, will have something constructive to say rather than a dig or a pejorative or some weird crap overused banter, right? But let us know in the comment section below what you think about these two stories today. One, of course, comes directly from me. Listen, I'm someone that I watch a lot of things on the BBC, you know, from EastEnders. You know, I like a bit of Strictly Come Dancing. I even listen to a lot of their radio shows. I do. I'm flabbergasted that they wanted to create a talking point today about something that doesn't exist. Strange behaviour. And when it comes to the PGMOL and Arsenal, clearly targeted them to damage their reputation, dragged a young 18-year-old player through the mud and connected it via the media to death threats, only for them to be absolutely humiliated and embarrassed by the speed of the overturn on that red card decision. And still they're not taking accountability. Go and check out Magic Mind. If you want to know how I have the energy to do all of this, Magic Mind is a key component to that. So go and check it out. Give it a try. And I didn't say it earlier, but they give you a money-back guarantee. So if you buy it, try it, and it isn't for you, it doesn't work, you feel no different, you can get your money back as well. So if you're looking to improve your life, lifestyle, health, and your mental health, go check out Magic Mind right now. Take care, goodbye, God bless, and I'll see you all again soon. Peace.